It was the kind of heat that made the air ripple like boiling oil. The sun blazed mercilessly in the sky above rural West Virginia, where asphalt melted into tar and every breath felt like inhaling from a hairdryer. Jake and Lily, a young couple from Chicago on a road trip to the Smoky Mountains, found themselves stranded on a lonely stretch of highway with their car engine coughing its last breath. The AC had long given out, turning the interior of the car into an oven. Sweat soaked their clothes, tempers flared, and the nearest help was miles away. But just beyond the trees, barely visible through the shimmering haze, stood a hulking gray building, massive, forgotten, and ominously quiet. "Is that a hospital?" Lily squinted, shielding her eyes. Jake followed her gaze. "Looks more like a prison." They both stared at the structure. Cracked walls, barred windows, ivy snaking up the sides. A sign hung crookedly by rusted chains. The words were barely legible, faded with time. Red Hollow Mental Asylum. Closed since 1974. Despite everything in Jake's gut screaming no, the heat was unbearable. The idea of shade, even in a place like that, was tempting. "Let's wait there until the tow truck comes," Jake said reluctantly. Lily nodded. They pushed open the creaking front door, which groaned in protest like a beast waking from slumber. Inside it was dark, cool, and silent, eerily so. Dust hung thick in the air, and every step echoed through empty halls like distant whispers. There was no power, no water, just decayed silence and a single broken bench in the lobby. Still, it was better than frying outside. As Jake slumped onto the bench, Lily's curiosity began to stir. "You know," she whispered, her voice hushed despite no one being around. "I always wondered if those things in movies were real. You know, the electric shock therapy. Did they really do that here?" Jake gave her a wary look. "Don't start poking around, Lil. This place gives me the creeps." But she was already moving, drawn by the mystery, the darkness, the silence that hummed louder than any sound. She wandered down a hallway labeled Treatment Wing A. The peeling paint and warped floorboards only deepened her unease, but she pressed on until she reached a door. It looked heavier than the others. Locked, sealed, with faded warning signs in red ink. High voltage, authorized personnel only. "That's gotta be it," she whispered to herself. She reached out and gripped the rusted handle. The moment her fingers touched metal, a jolt of white-hot agony surged through her body. Her scream pierced the silent asylum like a knife. "Jake!" she shrieked, collapsing backward onto the floor. He was there in seconds, panicked. "What happened?" I touched the door and it shocked me, like it burned." Jake examined her hand. Nothing, not a mark, no redness, no burns. "There's nothing there, Lil, nothing at all." She looked at him, eyes wide, lips trembling. "But I felt it, I swear." He helped her to her feet. "Come on, we're waiting outside." But as they turned to leave, something shifted. The door that had been locked now stood open, just a crack, enough to see the darkness beyond. And movement. Something shuffled inside, wet, heavy. Jake stepped back instinctively. "That wasn't open before." "No," Lily whispered. "It wasn't." From the other end of the hallway came a faint sound, barely audible at first. A soft click. Like metal tapping on tile. Then a breathy whisper. "Hello?" Lily clutched Jake's arm. "We're not alone." "Let's go," he shouted, yanking her back down the hall. But the front door slammed shut with a bang that rattled the building. Lights overhead, dead moments ago, sputtered to life, flickering violently. 1, 2. 3 bulbs exploded, plunging them back into darkness. The air grew colder, much colder, their breaths misted in the air. Lily turned her head slowly and saw them. Figures, dozens of them, standing in the halls, silent, still, wearing tattered hospital gowns. Their eyes were pitch-black voids, and every one of them had wires protruding from their temples. Jake's voice cracked. They were never discharged. The shadows advanced. No footsteps, no sound, just movement. Desperate, Jake yanked open a door and shoved Lily inside. They found themselves in a room filled with dusty chairs arranged in a circle, restraints on the arms, wires hanging from the ceiling like spider webs. "Shock therapy room," Lily whispered, trembling. Suddenly, the room lit up. Every chair began to hum. The wires writhed like snakes. A voice boomed through an old intercom, garbled and inhuman. "Session beginning. Patients present. Treatment commencing." Jake and Lily screamed as the door slammed shut behind them. Darkness, screams, static, then silence. 3 hours later, a tow truck pulled up beside the broken-down car. The driver, confused, looked around. Weird. They said they'd be waiting. He walked up to the asylum, calling out, "Hello? Anyone here?" No response. He turned to leave, then stopped. In the dusty glass of the asylum's front door were 2 fresh handprints, and behind them, a shadow moved. They were never alone, and now, they never left.